I'd like to try an experiment with you. If you have your phone with you, and I know you do, I want you to put it face down, or in your pocket, or in a bag. And for the next 20 minutes, I want you to not look at it. Not even if it vibrates. Not even if you feel curious. Not even if you suddenly remember that there is this one thing that you really need to check. So let's do this experiment together of just putting our phones away. And instead, let's try and check to see what happens inside of us. Some of you will feel very, very calm, relieved, maybe. Some of you might feel a slight discomfort. And that feeling, that tension between the urge to check your phone and that willingness to, no, I want to control myself. That tension here is discomfort. And today I want to focus on our relationship to discomfort, and I want to see how we can reshape that relationship. That is very important for us, because I believe that the quality of our life depends on our ability to actually stay with discomfort. I like this concept of discomfort, and I like to put myself in discomfort. What I do every year is I take 10 days to just be with discomfort. So what you're doing now for 20 minutes, I do it for 10 days. I do what we call silent meditation retreats for 10 days. And it's really what it sounds like. It's just silence for 10 days. You speak to nobody, you have no books, you have no phone, you have no movies, you have no music, you have nothing, not even eye contact for 10 days in a row. The only thing you do all day is you meditate, you watch your breath. That's it. It's the most boring thing in the world. And if you want to see what happens in those 10 days, this is my timetable. The first discomfort you can see is it starts at 4 a.m. That's a big discomfort right here. And then the next discomfort is the meditation, the first one that lasts 2 hours at 4:30. When I show this and when I talk about this to people, they usually ask me, why? Why would anyone sane would do this voluntarily? And I ask myself also honestly sometimes, usually on day 3, why am I here? Why do I do this to myself? This is insane. I go there not because I'm insane, not because I'm crazy. I go there not because I want to become a meditation guru. I go there because I want to handle discomfort differently. And this is what it feels like. When I'm in meditation, you're alone. Not necessarily lonely, but you're alone. There's a lot of things coming up. Nobody speaks to you, but inside of you, a lot of things are happening, uncomfortable. It's human nature. We have all these things happening to us. Pressure, waiting, expectations, change, conflict, social norms. All this, when you're in silence, appears and levels up. And you need to deal with it. I'll give you an example. One day, it was a physical discomfort that I experienced. We had to do a meditation for 1 hour. And the instruction was clear. You just sit, you choose one position, and you don't change the position for 1 hour. No matter what happens, you just look at it, observe, and you remain equanimous. That means you just remain neutral. You don't judge what's happening. And in that 1 hour, after 40 minutes, something already started to happen to me. You see, my feet were burning. I'm not even saying uncomfortable. I'm talking pain. Extreme pain. Burn. Like I was getting caught on fire. It was horrendous. Needles piercing through my flesh. And I still had 20 minutes to go. So I followed the instructions and I just went with the flow. I just observed and looked what was happening. And I observed that something else than just the body sensation was happening. My mind actually joined the game and made it worse. What my mind was saying was, this pain is really big. This is not normal. Marion, you need to get out of here. You need to move. If you don't move, this is going to get worse. The blood in your vein is going to disappear. You're going to lose your legs. You're going to become crippled. Where is this all coming from? My mind is really nuts. And this was making the whole experience extremely bad for me. And 1 minute felt like an eternity. Still, I observed and I stayed with all this discomfort. And I noticed little by little something happened. Suddenly something changed. This pain started to fade a little bit, started to decrease. And I was looking at it just going away. It felt like an eternity, really, but it did happen. And that's when I realized something really important. The sensation, the discomfort, the pain, whatever is happening to us, this is not the problem. The problem is our resistance to these things. And so if discomfort is something that comes and that goes, it's like us being snow globes. I've taken one to show you a little bit more. We're like those snow globes, and we know how these work. If this is us and life is happening at us, for instance, someone makes a comment, a nasty comment to us, life will simply trigger and bump into us, triggering all this snow to come up and become very uncomfortable. This is us. Or if something feels unfair, boom, life happens and it shakes our globes. All these particles of snow are very uncomfortable. Or maybe a plan changes, boom, the snow is getting shaken. The problem is not necessarily this. We're human. Life is going to happen at us. The globe is going to be shaken, right? The problem is that we do this without even realizing. And then we wonder, why is there so much discomfort in my life? And why is this not stopping? Because this is never stopping, right? This is us. And we all know if we have a snow globe, the only thing we need to do is this. Stay with it and do nothing. It sounds very easy, right? But it's not. It's actually living a life where you can handle your snow globe. It's actually a skill that we need to practice. If staying with discomfort is a skill, it is something that we can try and do and become better at every day. How do we do that? How do we become better at discomfort? Well, before trying to do something new, I think what we can try doing is look at what we're doing right now. And in terms of how we deal with discomfort, I'm looking at different types of reactions, different types of ways of dealing with discomfort. The first one is avoidance. We avoid. And this is very natural. We've probably seen this in your life as well. A couple of weeks ago, I had to have a difficult discussion with one of my team members, one of my employees, and it felt awful. I really didn't want to have that conversation. So the thing that I did is I found a lot of work to do, a lot of tasks, a lot of things. I had no time to have that discussion. It was just wonderful. I could avoid the discomfort like this. It doesn't work very long like this. This is one way of avoiding discomfort. Another way is to resist it. Again, same, this hard discussion. When I started to not avoid it, I started to simply resist it. And by resisting, I mean I started to really, in my mind, have all the scenarios of how it would happen, what I would say, what that person would respond, and how it would go. This is over control. Because I wanted to feel that the discomfort was under my control and it was not it controlling me. This is also not working, but it's a way of dealing with discomfort. A third way is to suppress. And maybe you've seen this as well in your life or around you. I have seen this 2 or 3 days ago because I watched a TV show. It's the equivalent of Survivors in French. And Survivors is this TV show where you have a bunch of strangers going on a stranded island and they have to survive. They have no food, no fire, nothing, basically. So it's a lot of discomfort for them. And on top of that, they have to do challenges that are very physical and make them tired. One team lost a challenge, extremely frustrated. The captain of that team gathered the whole team together and said to them, We lost, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it. This is suppression. This should not exist. Let's just suppress it as much as we can so we don't feel the discomfort at all. It doesn't work. Another thing that we see also usually in the workplace as well is discharge. It's when usually people snap at people, scream at people, and it's simply because I have this discomfort inside of myself and I just want to expel it and put it outside, elsewhere than inside of me. And it's usually ended up on someone else. And another one that I'm seeing, there might be more, for sure. Another one that I'm seeing is freezing. It's when the discomfort is so overwhelming that our brain goes blank, we become undecisive, we have no idea what to say, we become silent, we just stop moving. Immobility is a way of dealing with discomfort. So all these are how we deal with discomfort. And I believe there is a place where we can actually go that would help us avoid all these ways of dealing with discomfort. But before we look into that, I want to look into what happens if you just keep living life like this. What's the problem? The problem is one or two of those events where you avoid or you resist discomfort. It's not a big deal. We're all humans, perfect, and that's okay. But thousands of those instances build a life of avoidance, of resistance, of suppression, and so on. So what kind of life do we want to create instead? There is this space here in between that I think we can practice. And there are different ways of practicing. I believe we need to start practicing with very small discomforts. Either we let discomfort to come to our life, come to us, and we welcome those discomforts. Small ones. For instance, you bump your foot against a table, a chair. Maybe you want to discharge. Stupid chair, I hate you. It's useless, but maybe there's something else you can do. Or if in the city, if we're in December, and something happens to you, you just forgot to wear a pullover and you feel slightly cold, you can suppress and say, I'm not cold, I am hot, 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 I'm feeling hot. This usually also doesn't work. But these are the moments where instead of reacting, you can actually just do something else. Or if you don't want to wait for life to happen to you or at you, you can provoke those discomforts. I don't mean you go and you bump your feet against tables purposefully. That's not what I mean. But maybe what you can try is taking a cold shower, and instead of resisting it, try and see what it feels like to have this experience and to not have any of these reactions instead. If you're like me, you want to go for 10 days, be my guest. Or you can also, if you're into specific sports, try free diving, for instance, where you hold your breath for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and you try and see what happens to your body and your mind when you feel like you're lacking oxygen. That is also really interesting for the experience. But the idea is really this. This space here is very special. It's a space where we're not doing anything. We're exactly doing that. We are not avoiding. We're not resisting. We're not suppressing. Instead of doing anything, we're in another space. We're in the space of being. And this is really hard because nobody teaches us that, how to be. Being is not doing. We first need to be before we decide how we want to do or how we want to act. And I think this is very important because if we learn with very small moments of discomfort to deal with them without reacting to them, that's the way we can, when larger discomforts are happening, and obviously I don't wish any of those to you, but as humans, this is what happens. We get hurt, people around us get hurt, and these moments are extremely uncomfortable. How do you deal with those if you haven't been able to deal with a cold shower? And if you're able to take the snow globe, stop shaking it, and look at the snow go down, look at all the discomfort settle, that's the moment where freedom appears. Freedom to choose how you want to act or react. And that's the moment where you can actually decide what is the next step for you. That's the moment where you can face really discomfort. And I want to leave you with a quote from the writer James Baldwin. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. Thank you.